I was 4 years old in kindergarten, and it was my first day. And I was off in the corner, minding my own business, and I found this box of clay, which was really old and brittle. It had hair and grime all over it. After a couple of weeks of sculpting monsters and characters of my own design, these kids took an interest in me, and they came over and started playing with me. And that's pretty much how I made friends back in the old day. My name is Gritsada. My buddies call me Grits. I've been working in the film industry for over 10 years. Spent a long time living in Thailand during my high school years. Yeah, those were the years where I pretty much honed in on my craft as a sculptor and artist. Well, having grown up in Thailand in the 90s, I've watched Hollywood from afar, and I saw a lot of incredible special effects. Showcasing what they could do in Hollywood practically was very inspiring. And I finally knew what I was going to do in the future. My first film that I've worked on, it was called Steve Zissou's The Life Aquatic, and they had segments of stop motion in there. So I was pretty much the lead sculptor on that department. I have to admit, my first production, I kind of came in there kind of green because I didn't really expected anything from the film industry. I thought it would be an easy gig, thinking that, you know, all they needed from me was to sculpt. But actually, it was more about collaboration and meeting new people and being able to work in this environment where we have all these creative people. Having to work in that environment kind of opened my eyes on, like, wow, in order to make a film, you all have to have a lot of people that really work well with each other and be able to collaborate and to produce something this great. And that was an eye-opener. And you know, I was just so happy that I was able to meet all these incredible people and be exposed to that. Well, growing up, I watched a lot of Disney cartoons, and eventually I kind of moved on to horror films. So I started watching things like Freddy, Friday the 13th, you know, Child's Play, things of that sort, even Alien and Predator. I mean, those movies really, they absolutely inspired me growing up when I was starting to create creatures and monsters of that sort. But yeah, it all started from watching Disney cartoons and sculpting all the characters that I saw there. But, you know, it was, in a way, I was trying to expand my skill set to know what things should look like in the cartoonish form, and started working my way up to doing things more realistic like and creature like. A while back I sculpted this monster with 3 eyes. And for the longest time I was like juggling in my mind, what is the story behind this guy? He looks so awesome. And in the back of my mind, I kind of already knew where he was coming from and what position he would be in life. But to actually hash out the story, that takes a long time. So it took me a while to come up with the story, but he's actually a monster king that's ruling his own kingdom on this monster planet, and he has full authority over everyone. And that 3rd eye is his ultimate power. So one day he gets in this battle and he loses his 3rd eye. So the story pretty much concentrates on his journey back into finding his power and back to his kingdom, and what he has to encounter and who he has to fight to get back on top. But he does learn a few lessons along the way, and discovering his own self and his past. So I think it's the journey that makes this story interesting, is that, you know, he has to go through a lot of trouble and tribulations just to get to where he belongs. But, you know, he finds out later maybe things aren't actually what they are supposed to be for him. CGI has taken up a lot of the projects of like practical special effects artists out there. But I feel that it's a give and take type of a deal, because some things that are done practically don't necessarily translate so well onto the screen, and CGI is that answer for that, void. Well, I think it's pretty much the way of the future. Everything is pretty much dependent on like what is the latest technology to capture the attention of the audience, and CGI is it at this point. I don't know if they're going to create something even more spectacular or more technologically advanced. Well, right now I've kind of taken a step back from the film industry to concentrate more on my own creations that I've always been wanting to do for so long. I've been writing my own scripts, creating and designing these creatures that I've been twirling around in my mind for so many years that I've been wanting to get out. So that's pretty much what's inspiring me at this moment to move full on ahead, is to create my own things and build up on that. I've always held sculpting as my first love. Throughout the years, I've developed other skills too, such as writing and drawing. That's how I kind of developed my new love for comic books, is to tell the stories of my characters through comic books. That would be my biggest goal, is to actually create a character that is worthy enough to be on the big silver screen. That would be a dream come true.